Howdy, 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 and welcome to the iGPFUN Formula 3 series presented by VRS here on Total Sim Sport. Hope y'all are having a fantastic afternoon here in the hills of Georgia. And we're here at Road Atlanta, for another day of Formula 3 action. And I gotta say, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Seb Bosher-Williams, and we got Sean Cranleigh-Swash in the production booth. And I hope y'all are gonna have a fantastic time because, you know, it's Road Atlanta. It's kind of an awkward circuit. You don't see a lot of Formula racing. You see more sports car racing here. But when we get to Formula racing here, it takes on an entirely new being. The opening sector of Road Atlanta is so treacherous with that flying S section down the hill. It's going to be very fun to watch cars snake down that hill and then fly down that long back straightaway, shuffle for position, get into that draft, maybe send one up onto the inside into that final chicane over the hill. The cars get really light in sports cars in other series, but with the downforce, they are just planted over there. And it's just absolutely such a wonderful to watch experience, these Formula 3 cars around here. So I hope y'all are going to have a great time, as I believe Seb has joined me back in the booth. Seb, how are you feeling about today?
Super excited, Austin. Yeah, always excited when we have iGPFUN on our screens, but especially excited as it's Road Atlanta. Who doesn't love this track? I mean, it's got the perfect mix of everything. It's got really tricky slow speed corners, quick high speed corners, and a really scary final couple of turns as you go over the hill, under the bridge, and sort of that blind corner. Thankfully, no mandatory pit stops here, as it's always really scary when you're, doing the, say, Petit Le Mans around here, entering the pit lane. No such issues today, but if anybody has to come in the pits for any reasons, any damage, or maybe to take a gamble on tyres, they've got to be switched on and thinking about that pit entry. But who is switched on at the moment? It's got to be Jerome Lamy, Austin. He is absolutely rapid once again at the top of the timing stands, and so confident, in fact, he is still in the pit lane.
Yeah, Jerome Langley, he's got provisional pole right now, and it's a very solid time that he's put in, a 12.4 time, and times here are just 1 minute 12. Very quick lap time. Not a lot of room for errors around here, and a lap time that only takes roughly 72 seconds. Honestly, there is a lot of room to really make up on times, but the entire grid right now, the fastest time we have set so far is a 12.4. The bottom of our timing tower in 30th, it reads a 13.8. They're separated by 1.4 seconds. 30 cars.
Yeah, and watch out for the 808 car. I don't know if that's true on the graphics, but according to this, you set in purples every single sector. So what's gonna...
Kelly is on fire right now. Purple, purple, purple. Are we going to see Kelly jump to the top of the board? No, we are not. Kelly in the final sector, I think, is Rohan Kelly. He invalidated that lap.
Absolute heartbreak for Kelly if that was, true, and if our graphics weren't deceiving us, and he was on such a great lap to all have it sort of thrown away at the end of the lap. Absolute heartbreak as we see Luca Varani just crossing the line, and Jerome Lamy is back out on track. Don't think he's actually going to get any chance really to set a lap time, so we're not going to see him improving on his pole position time. Will McIntyre, the first of the highest driver that's still out on track. But yeah, what drama we have seen already in this qualifying session as the time ticks to 0. So all the drivers will just have to now finish their lap as we see Will McIntyre cross the line. Can he improve on his fastest lap time? Can he gain any positions in the dying time? And he cannot, so he will start from P4. What a great, I mean, I'd actually, I'm not sure if he was, but Sam Hermer up there in P2. Didn't quite catch his name earlier. So Lamy and Hermer and Maruk is our top 3, Austin. I mean, that's setting us up for an absolutely incredible race.
It is a very stacked top 4. Will McIntyre is up there as well. But yeah, our top 2 roles are very, stacked full right now as our timing tower is over. Our qualifying session is over. Not the timing tower. Well, it is on the timing tower. It says qualifying 0 right there. As everybody is finishing up the lap that they are on, as we are getting ready to rock and roll here at Road Atlanta. 36 cars are going to be on the grid here today. I believe we do have one driver that will not be taking to the grid. As we are just waiting for the session to pop on over. We are waiting for Giovanni Saletto to finish up their lap there. Z091. Say go down that long back straightaway. Actually, a short shoot heading into the double right-hander.
Yeah, he must have already finished his lap and he's sort of just doing a few more practice laps because, I mean, certainly not going to finish this lap. He's got about 6 seconds left to do it, and unless he's strapped a rocket to that Formula 3 car, he's not going to finish it. But yeah, Giovanni Saletto just practicing to the very end of the session, really wanting that extra track time.
All the way, using all the time as he can right there. As here is Jerome Lamley starting up on pole, followed by Samuel Hermer, Lucas Marouk, Will McIntyre, James Polsland, Simon Fessy, Alex Lato at Devo Braun, Luca Verani, Evan Way, Rodrigo Duran, Giuseppe Didon, Hector Balaguer, Antonio Tellez, Justin Negre, and Alistair Hay. They're followed by Rafael Munzer, Marcelo Kessler. Ahead of them is Nicholas Westman and Christian Latanzio. Robert Ridgway down to 23rd, followed by Zolta Zoman or Nick Carty, Nico Veldman, Kujiaito, Pierre Barry, Richard Van Vliet, Reed Dennis, Giovanni Saletto, Rohan Kelly, Keeler Ireland, and Noel Richie Robertson in 33rd and 34th. They're followed by Matthew Gracie and Matthew Brewer. Marcus Hudson is in 37th, but I do not believe they're in the session anymore. So 36 cars in the grid, cars starting on the downhill. Hopefully they do not let go of the brake on their standing start, or else they will get a false start penalty because gravity.
Yeah, gravity, not the driver's best friend.
Experience here. It's not enjoyable.
No, you got to be so careful, and you know, just to add sort of insult to injury, you're on a downhill and on a little bit of a corner. So yeah, really tricky start for anybody sort of mid-pack down. So watch out for that. And anybody that's actually just on the downhill and not on the corner might be able to leap quite a few people. And yeah, hopefully these drivers have sort of really perfected their starts because their skills are going to be tested to the absolute limit.
Skills as we see are absolutely being pushed to the limit as we got 10 seconds left before the lighting procedure is on. Here we go. It's time to get ready to rock and roll here in Atlanta as we go green here in the iGPFUN Formula 3 series presented by VRS at Road Atlanta. It's a good start by Lamley and Hermer. Hermer challenging Lamley immediately heading into turn 1, trying to hold it around to the outside of Hermer. He's going to have that inside line right back there for turn number 2, and then they head into that dangerous S section, and already side by side deep into the pack. Everybody just choosing their own lines, make sure they all get through there safely. And we've all seen the disastrous lap 1 incidents of just cars getting a little bit too argy-bargy. Lap 1 catching into the grass and then into an incident. And oh, speaking of that, in the background, Tony Jimenez and Hector Balaguer getting into a big crash. I think one of them ran wide, exiting the S, has gone to the curb, and they came back onto the track. We have 5 cars involved in that incident.
Yeah, we got Killer and Richie Robinson, Atoa as well, also caught up in that. And if it's, I didn't quite catch the incident there, Austin, but it's sort of almost the standard accident that you see around Road Atlanta. Just
they hit that curb on the outside. They went too far on the outside in these Formula cars. That's kind of the line in GT3s where you can go really far on the outside. Yeah, there it is. Oh, they just push so hard and into the wall they go. And that is the end of the day for, well, I think both those drivers right there. Wheel is broken, and then there's another car trying to avoid it. They spin, and then it's just the entire concertina effect of everybody just trying to avoid everything. as Tony Jimenez, Antonio Tell is showing us a little bit of off-road control. That Formula 3 car, he got so close to the wall, like he was qualified for the Indy 500. Somehow he didn't hit that.
Yeah, somehow he didn't, and I think he's gonna just be able to get back to the pits and strap a new set of tires and a new front wing, and I think he'll be good to go.
Well, as we go back, Jerome Lamley holding off Samuel Hermer and Lucas Maruk. Your top three still staying the same right here. As Hermer is in the draft of Lamley, that long straightaway. And Lamley defending all the way down to the inside from Hermer. Hermer can still hold it around the outside right here. I've seen side-by-side moves work right here. Lamley very aggressive down to the inside, getting over to the curb, getting a little bit aggressive. But here comes Hermer off the exit. Hermer and Lamley going side by side right now. Heading into the final corner, and Hermer down low, and Hermer into the lead. Crossing over the nose on Jerome Lamley right there. But Lamley with the switchback. Now Lamley's down to the inside of a Hermer. They're going to go side by side, heading into turn one, still side by side. Hermer being held onto the outside just like the start. Lamley onto the inside. He broke early, and there goes Hermer down to the inside, and Hermer back into the lead.
Yeah, Hermer's so late under brakes. Thought we were gonna see a camera shot of him just bumping and skipping across the grass, but nope, managed to slow it down. Whether Lamey just sort of broke a little bit too early, not quite sure, but Hermer set that move up on the entrance to the final few corners, turns 10s A and B, and just sort of chose the opposite line to Hermer. Chose the opposite line to Jerome Lamey and set the move up, and yeah, got it into turn 12. Great driving from Sam Hermer there. Weaving on the straight, trying to break the slipstream, but Lamey, you have to say, it's more under pressure from Maruk than he is able to put pressure on Hermer as we head down towards the same chicane that we saw Jerome Lamey struggling at just one lap ago, and Hermer very quick on the entrance there. Tires really not overly happy with how much demand Hermer was putting into them, and that's allowed Lamey to catch up a little bit as we head round turn 12 once again to start another lap, and Jerome Lamey right back on the tail of Sam Hermer. This battle is certainly not over through the incredibly fast turn one. No drivers really pushing the limits on the curb, as it's so easy to run wide there and end up in the wall. But I have to say, Austin, Hermer looks quick, but that rear of that car looks very on edge. It's twice now we've seen him, you know, almost be sideways into a corner.
Yeah, it is very nerve-wracking, especially in these Formula 3 cars, and how much sideways you can actually get them. Especially in that downhill section, because this car is planted. If you just get a little slide in there, oh man, that is a pucker factor of 5,000 for a few of these drivers for sure. As a little bit of gap starting to form between these two. Lamley, though, he's back in that draft of Samuel Hermer. He can get right in there. He's actually looking down to the inside of Samuel Hermer and just staying outside that draft. I think he's more focused on Lucas Maruk right behind him. The fastest driver in the field is actually not in the top four. It's the driver in 5th place, Simon Fessy, at the back of this pack right there. Fessy actually in the background was actually trying to make a move on James Palsland right there. As Lamley and Hermer race across the line once more. New fastest lap of the race goes to Samuel Hermer of the 113.42 as they head into turn one right now. 8/10 separates Hermer and Lamley, and Hermer, I feel like, is just more confident heading into turn one. You see him attacking that outside curb on the first part of this downhill section. He's actually hit that curb pretty hard, and he's just using all the track to his advantage right there. And if he continues to use that, he must watch his tires and avoid overheating them and just catching a little bit of grass on the outside, because the draft Jerome Lamley is going to always be there. Lamley doesn't have to be that aggressive, but the front two are starting to pull away from Lucas Maruk and the rest of the field. Yeah,
they certainly are. Looking to Laredo trying to get past the number 14 car of Timo Braun as they head side by side down the back straight. Laredo getting a much better exit out of turn 7, and that's just giving him so much more speed down the straight. So crucial corner, but Timo Braun's now coming back at him, but I think Laredo's just going to stamp on the brakes a little bit later, which he does, and that cements his 8th place for the number 88 car. Timo Braun down into 9th place. Can he get Laredo back, or is he going to have to start looking behind him? He's got Rodrigo Duran right behind him, and Luca Varani not too far behind him as well. So Timo Braun going to be looking front and back. He's going to get dizzy with the amount of direction changes he's going to have to encounter through just having to attack and defend. But good move
Yeah,
by Luedo. We've seen him, you know, Austin, he's such a good overtaker, isn't he, Luedo?
Yeah, Leto is very good at knowing when to stop the car and when to launch an attack on another driver. And he's one of the best overtakers we've seen in this series as we look at Luca Verani behind Rodrigo Duran. I was having a talk with Luca before this race last week. His pace was kind of off, and he said that he's been a lot busier than he used to actually get down and understand the car as he used to be, and he just didn't have a lot of track time with him, and he's just been you know, doing a lot of real life stuff and just getting on the car when he can. So still putting in top 10 performances is very impressive. We've qualified top 10, got overtaken, is sitting in 11th right now. But all the Verani fans wondering about Luca's pace, you know, he's got a lot of stuff on his plate, and he couldn't devote all the time that he wants into this car.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show the caliber of the grid that, you know, a driver of Verani's caliber, you know, he is not a slow driver. He's a supremely quick driver, and you know, if Verani's sort of saying that, you know, he can't devote too much time, and he's, you know, he's down in 11th, it just goes to show how quick everybody is ahead of him. So yeah, Verani, absolutely great drive from him, and certainly sticking to the back of Rodrigo Duran's car. Watch out for that on your timing tower, as Luedo has started to make a little bit of a breakaway from Timo Braun, and he's got his eyes firmly set on catching Evan Way, but the gap is a little bit too large at the moment, so Luedo's got quite a long process if he wants to catch up to Evan Way. But Rodrigo Duran, looking at Timo Braun, trying to make a move into turn 10, thinks better of it. And I heard, Austin, I'm not sure who it was, but one of the cars definitely hitting the rev limiter. Yeah, as I said, not sure who it was, but whoever it is not going to be feeling the effects of the slipstream so much as the others. I think they're simply just running out of gears.
I think that would be Rodrigo Duran. With the least amount of draft over that wing, that car will be the fastest it's going. And, you know, he will be traveling the fastest on the straight out of everyone right here. So that would be the moment for Rodrigo Duran. And I expect him to be popping off that rev limiter and using all the gear right there. And you know, these guys have their setups just absolutely tuned, but I believe the gearbox are standard, so everybody has the same gears, as I believe. I'm not sure, I don't do a lot of setups here. Somebody who I know does do a lot of setups, Luca Verani does a lot of setups. He said he's been focusing more on the hot temperature side of setups in case the track does a complete 180 degree.
Yeah, not as hot as we've seen some other Formula 3 races. Was in one when it was 50 degrees, so 22 is certainly practically absolutely freezing as Rodrigo Duran sends it to the inside of Timo Braun, and he takes that 9th place off the German. And what can Timo Braun do to get back? He can't really do much as we head back towards yeah, we look at Pausland in 4th place, being chased down by Simone Fessi. Fessi, who had a great amount of pace earlier on in this race and certainly hasn't lost it at all. And he's still trying to get past James Pausland, as you can see, heading down the S's up towards turn 5, where we saw that lap 1 incident. Still drivers using that curb. Certainly not scared of using awful wheels on the curb. Certainly unsettles the car, but as long as you can make sure that the car settles down before you fully commit to the throttle, you are all good. But I think, Austin, we've all had incidents there, whether it be in Formula 3 cars or you know, more prototypes or GT cars. You know, everybody knows the danger of that exit curve at turn 5.
Yeah, we got a back marker actually up in front of us, already catching lap traffic right here, as down to the inside. Here comes the 27 of Simon Fessi. Big send down to the inside at the chicane to jump up into 4th.
Yeah, great move by Simone there. Really just understanding how late he can brake, and absolutely incredible touch on the brake pedal. But Pausland certainly not enjoying that. Wants a little bit of the action as we head side by side through turn 1 up towards turn 2. Pausland is just going to have to back out, which he does, and that's allowed McIntyre to catch right back up to this fight. So it's suddenly a three-way fight for 4th place. James Pausland's gone from being defensive to on the offensive to back to the defensive, as Will McIntyre now tries to make the most out of this battle, as there is a lapped car just getting out the way in the background. As we see.
The lapped car, well, that's one way to make a way for a blue flag going to the wall. It's a unfortunate way, it's a very distracting way, but it is a effective way. It's not the right way, but it is a way.
Yeah, as we see, sorry to cut in there, something's happened to Lawedo. He's dropped down all the way to 20.
Lawedo.
And Richard Van Veen as well has come into the pit. So what's happened here?
Oh, he's caught the grass off the exit and into the 84. Oh, that's a massive net code right there. Oh my gosh, you can fit an entire black bear right there in between him and the other car. And he gets involved with Luca Verani. Verani gets pushed off by Lawedo's trying to recover the car. And I'm guessing this doesn't end very well for Alex Lawedo. And
he's got no steering.
Oh, yeah. The steering has gone off. He's gone off into the club layout and gotten out of the car and probably thrown something at someone.
Yeah, I mean, it
That's
looked like it started.
Way. Very unfortunate way. And
yeah, he's and just to sort of yeah, I think just to prove his frustration, he's decided just to do a few donuts, hit the wall, and that is certainly his day over. Lawedo, there's cars look absolutely sad.
Do you think that might have been hardware? Was that a hardware thing, or was that from the contact? Because it's kind of awkward as we have this light speed battle for the lead. Jerome Lamb getting ahead of Samuel Hermer right now as they go down the back straightaway at 237 miles an hour right now, as they're still onto the front end nose right now. Hermer is just trying to stay on the back of Jerome Lamb, but both of them equipping the Hyperjets right now as they go underneath and under the Fox Bridge. As we go back to live pictures, and I get to take a breath.
Yeah, having obviously a few issues with our broadcaster software, but we are back live. Yeah, our timing software not doing its best job at timing. It's 2 times speed, but yeah, we get a real sense of the speed of the Formula car. It certainly does, but you're right. Jerome Lamey has gotten past Sam Hermer. Sam Hermer wants that position back, though, over the over the exit curb of turn 5, heading down towards the braking zone of turn 6. Slightly uphill braking lends itself to a little bit of a dive. Hermer, though, chooses against that, and we see Jerome Lamey. And we sort of tend to see this from Jerome Lamey, like he might sort of, he's really, he's super quick at qualifying, then doesn't get the best start, sort of concedes the lead, but then has this relentless pace and just takes the lead and runs off with it. But Hermer certainly not taking no for an answer, thinking about the outside line down into turn 10. And this turn 10 chicane, Jerome Lamey breaks a little bit later on the inside. Is Hermer going to do exactly what he did all those laps ago and set Jerome Lamey up to overtake him into the final corner? But he's just a little bit too far back. And
it would be too early. It would be too early for Samuel Herman to really set up this move right now and try to clear away from Jerome Lamey. He needs to be a lot patient with this and let this race come to him. He's been leading this race. He's been very aggressive in this opening sector. As you see him get into the grass, goes a little bit wide, and that is his Achilles heel right there. He's very confident heading into that opening sector, but he's too confident heading in there as he put half the car into the grass and using all the track. And now, if you are Jerome Lamey looking back at Samuel Hermer, you know that you just got to keep him behind you, and he will be making these mistakes behind you, and you'll be able to just put in lap times and get out of that draft range, because that draft is what's keeping everybody there with you and keeping him with you. And if you break free of that draft, you're just going to start sailing away, as these two have, because it's a almost 5 seconds to Lucas Maruk behind them.
Yeah, and usually Maruk doesn't have the pace, at least at this phase of the race, to keep up with our top two. We normally see Maruk up there fighting for the win, so whether he's not feeling exactly in tune with the setup, or there are some sort of other gremlins going on. Not quite sure, but yeah, once again, Hermer making a mistake when it comes time to, apply that pressure, or, when he's feeling the pressure even, obviously Hermer's lost the lead, wants it back, but, he is prone to making these mistakes. And unfortunately, I commentate and we commentate Austin on so many different races that Hermer is a part of. I can't remember if it was in the iGPFUN series, but there was a race at Hockenheim where he started on pole, but unfortunately for him, he just sort of kept on sort of spinning and ultimately was out of the top 10. So hope for Hermer's sake that he can remedy sort of that tendency that he's got to sort of make those mistakes and just sort of calm it down and think sort of logically and strategically and try and get that lead back.
Yeah, you gotta plan ahead if you are Samuel Hermer. You can see Jerome Lamley getting a little bit weavy on that back straight, but if you're Hermer, you can force Lamley into a very aggressive defense, or you can take it for yourself. You see him already poking down the inside, putting his nose where it would be a good overtaking opportunity, and might be taking a few notices, like, if I wait to the last moment, if I'm here at the last lap, I can do this, and I will get right here. And if your plan is just to stay behind the car leader for the rest of the race, because everybody else is miles behind you, and you two are putting in lap times that are 3/10 quicker than anybody else, I would start thinking about this tactically instead of aggressively. Sure, I would try to force the guy ahead into a mistake right here, but if I was Samuel Hermer, I'd be gathering as much data as I could and just looking for that opportunity and that precise moment when to strike, how far you need to be back to get the maximum amount of draft, and where you need to go for it.
Yeah, certainly, and that's the main advantage of league racing, is actually that, that Hermer and Lamey have had, many previous battles, and, they really understand each other. They know that they'll be given, respect, and they know the other driver's strengths and weaknesses, and that's why drivers love league racing so much. Is Lamey defends to the inside, forces Hermer to go all the way around the outside, but Hermer just thinks better of it. Tries to get the cutback.
Back move. We saw this earlier, and this is exactly the same move by Samuel Hermer to retake the lead. Lamley defended down to the inside of Hermer with that wide entry switchback move to the inside of the track. Gets the lead back, but here comes Lamley now down to the inside. This is deja vu to what we saw earlier on lap 7 with Hermer and Lamley retakes the lead and takes a lot of grass with him.
Yeah, another car actually off the track at the very corner that Hermer went wide. So somebody going even wider than Sam Hermer. Didn't think it was really possible, but yeah, it certainly happened. And yeah, Lamey really still rapid. And both of these drivers, you might see sort of later on in the race that one driver, is struggling for tyres and there's sort of a pace differential, but these two drivers are absolutely doing the exact same lap times as Hermer, extra wide out of the exit of turn 7. That's going to give Lamey a really good opportunity into turn 10, but Hermer crucially has a little bit of draft off a back marker, so that's going to help Hermer and hinder Lamey as we head down towards turn 10, but that back marker that helped Hermer is going to hinder him, and at the moment is they're going to make it 3 wide into turn 10, and Lamey back through to take the lead.
Lamley wasn't impeded as Hermer, he went for the lap car, but the lap car was going around the wider part of the track, completely negating the entire draft advantage that he was getting on that back straightaway, and that allowed Lamley to retake the lead right there, and now Lamley back into the lead. Hermer gets a wheel onto the grass and almost loses it in turn 1.
Yeah, Hermer again, super unstable on the entrance to turn number 3. Yeah, really pushing that car to its absolute limit. Surprised it's still facing in the right direction, but he's got so much speed at the moment. Still, the gap is 2 tenths between your leader and the second place man, Sam Hermer. Down into turn 6 we go, and you just see Hermer almost able to drive around the outside of Jerome Lamey, but the ever crucial turn 7 exit, and they look fairly even. In fact, you'd have to say that Lamey might have got a slightly better exit, and that's just going to help Lamey all the way down this super long straight, and Hermer's just going to have to rely on that slipstream. And can he make the same move he's done? It'll be the 3rd time he's done it. He's certainly practiced at it, but can Jerome Lamey hold him off? And we'll find out.
Yeah, a lot of grass taken on the apex by Samuel Hermer right there, using all the track onto the apex right there, kicking some dirt into the air and trying to close that gap to Jerome Lamley. Lamley has been looking indestructible in this part of the sector. being able to get across of Samuel Hermer, defending onto the inside, heading to turn on right onto the gearbox is Lamley, and Lamley defending onto the inside. Hermer by right there, and Hermer in one of the tightest spots. No holds bar. Samuel Hermer back into the lead.
What a move by Samuel Hermer. What an incredible move. What utter car control he has just to be able just to slip it down the inside of that sort of kink of turn 2 and then right around the outside of the right-hander of turn 3. Incredible move by Sam Hermer. I think that caught Jerome Lamy by surprise. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a successful overtake around there. So hats off to Sam Hermer, and he really needs to capitalize on that now. He's got past a back marker, but so has Jerome Lamy. And now it's advantage Sam Hermer, but Jerome Lamy crucially almost out of the second window that he needs to comfortably be in that slipstream window. But Jerome Lamy can break super late into that final chicane, and you know, this battle certainly isn't done.
Yeah, the battle is certainly not over. Lamley with that little mistake right there. The sort of dab of Verani down to the inside for 8th place. Onto the inside, I believe that was Evan Way. It was Evan Way, that 92 machine right behind him. And Verani, well, he's certainly found his groove later on in this race. And now he's in that top 10 and looking on Rodrigo Duran as, well, Luca Verani, he prioritizes that long race pace and the short sprint style as Simon Fessy and Lucas Marouk battle it out for third. As Marouk goes a little bit wide into the grass, Fessy round the outside, and Fessy up into third from that mistake by Lucas Marouk.
Yeah, it sort of struck me that after Marouk made that mistake, he wasn't overly keen on fighting Fessy. You know, he could have probably put up a little bit more of a fight. Whether it would have been in vain is another matter, but I think Marouk there kind of accepted his fate and just sort of wants to stick in the slipstream, and you know, hopefully that, and in hope that Fessy can catch the top 2, as the gap is now 7.8 seconds. So that's a huge delta that that Marouk and Fessy have to now try and overcome. But yeah, Marouk not really fighting it, but actually is a little bit quicker through this final sector. The gap's closed in a little bit, so does Lucas feel like he can make a move, as they are 3 wide on the straight, Austin?
Oh, get your camera out for this one.
Oh, there's
3 wide, and neither of them giving any of each other room. Side by side, heading into the corner, being led by Clark Williams, trying to hold it around the outside. That is Marcelo Kebler. Kebler trying to hold the speed, but now Kebler under pressure by Munzer. Munzer onto the gearbox of Kebler, but they made it through there right there. There's chaos right behind him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a car spin off into the wall. But yeah, Clark Williams in 15th, leading this battle, but crucially just cutting a hole in the air for all to follow behind him. And that's Kessler going through, and he's a little bit outside of that slipstream window, but still, I think, close enough, as this is the battle for the lead. And Jerome Lamy certainly still right behind Sam Hermer. And Lamy certainly seems to have the pace. And I think we're just seeing, Austin, the effect of the slipstream and how powerful it is. Because, you know, every time one of the driver or the other driver overtakes one another, the driver behind is able just to catch up. So, you know, both of these drivers have incredible pace. And it just seems the slipstream is making such a difference at the moment.
It benefits both drivers if you're overtaking it. That's a lot of curb onto the inside by Jerome Lamley. I think he got airborne and might have landed sideways to scrub off the speed of the tires, but using the draft heading down the hill, he is still right there as they're nose to tail right now, as they are closing down more laps and closing in on 2/3 of this race gone right now, as Lamley and Hermer are still nose to tail right now in this battle for the lead.
Yeah, and just further down the field, I see that Rafael Munzer and Kessler are oh so close together. That gap's just has opened up to 0.2 of a second. It just goes to show how close those two were a few minutes ago. But Jerome Lamy stalking the back of Sam Hermer's Dallara F3 car. Does he feel like making a move to the inside? He's thinking about it. He certainly does. Down the inside, Jerome Lamy goes to retake the lead.
Watch Hermer. Hermer off his exit. Every time Lamley has defended or attacked onto the inside, Hermer's been able to retake it now, but Hermer has actually decided not to go for it off the exit, and he's let Jerome Lamley have this little lead right here. But when we go back to that back straight, if we see Lamley defend onto the inside, expect Hermer to swing it around the outside once again. Because Hermer is right there, and in the mid-corner, Lamley gets pushed wide, and Hermer sneaks his way through there like a cunning fox to get back into the lead.
Again, just speechless for Sam Hermer there. Absolutely incredible move. I've never seen a car go around the outside of another car there without not living to tell the tale. Hermer, though, all opposite lock on the entrance to turn 7. That's going to compromise his exit and allow Lamey another move down towards the chicane. We go once again. Another lapped car getting in the way, at least if you are Sam Hermer.
Here comes Lamley. Woo! Nose crossover by Hermer. Lamley attacking onto the inside, heading into the chicane. Hermer breaks earlier and lets Lamley retake the lead. I think this might be a strategy for Samuel Hermer to let Lamley make that mistake, because the reason why Hermer had the lead heading into that corner was because Lamley made that mistake heading into that S section right there. But now we're back to Lamley in the lead. Are we going to be seeing Lamley attack that corner as aggressively as he did last time? Flips that inside curb, flips the outside curb, and they make it through a lot nicer this time. As Samuel Hermer, he just closes right in on that downhill right there. And literally any advantage to do. Oh, that lapped car is off in the shadow realm now.
That's no Richie Robinson. He's escaped back to the pits. Actually, a few drivers in the pits lower down the field. We've got Christian Latinzo, Itoa, and Brewer, and Nico Veldman as well, all in the pits as we avert our eyes back towards the battle for the lead. Sam Hermer once again in the slipstream of Jerome Lamey.
This is a spot that Hermer's not used to, attacking on the inside. I can count on the hand how many times I've seen Hermer attack another driver onto the inside right here. He goes a little bit wide on the entry, trying to use all the track and get used to that break point, but Samuel Hermer back into the lead here at Road Atlanta on lap 24 out of 37.
Yeah, goes very, very defensive to the inside line to try and cut off Jerome Lamey's attempt at getting past him into turn 1. Does so successfully there. And we know how strong Hermer is through this section. We've seen, you know, how much more in pace he has by just going around the outside of Jerome Lamey a few laps ago at this very spot. But now Jerome Lamey is within that slipstream range again. We head through turn 5, and it just seems that whatever driver is behind, behind it is in that second place is just able to take more speed through, because it looked, when Hermer was behind Jerome Lamey, that Hermer just had so much more grip and command over the car. But then as soon as they switch, Jerome Lamey just looks absolutely rapid. So it really feels like whoever's going to be whoever leads the race going into the final lap might not be the driver that ultimately ends up winning the race.
Yeah, that's the entire strategy of what's going to come on right now. As you see, Hermer defending onto the inside, Jerome Lamley going onto the outside right there, heading onto the brakes. Lamley leading into the corner. Hermer holding him second side by side through there. Hermer around the outside, able to defend for the lead. And that is the way you want to do it in the final lap. Force the car to go a little bit deep into the corner and just absolutely nail that second part of that chicane and just rocket over the hill to retain the lead and go for the win right here. But the draft is always going to be your Achilles heel in these cars unless you're able to pull out a gap. And we saw that right there. Lamley getting onto the curve and getting pushed out a little bit wide as we are looking back at Lucas Marouk attacking Will McIntyre for the top 5 position.
Yeah, Lucas Marouk just falling down the order. McIntyre passed the Canadian. So yeah, McIntyre doing a great job there, and Marouk don't quite know where his pace has gone. Started third in this race, but has not been able to convert that into into any sort of race pace. So unusual for Lucas Marouk there. He's trying to track down Will McIntyre. Oh, McIntyre wide!
A little bit of lock-up as our broadcast curse always continues right as we switch over. Something insane happens. But I believe they're all still driving. Palsland, Marouk, and Duran are still in that fight for... it was McIntyre. McIntyre went off the track and he fell down to 7th.
Yep, so McIntyre made the mistake, has allowed Lucas Marouk through, and also Rodrigo Duran. So that's the battle to keep our eye on. But We're currently watching the battle for P1, and I feel, Austin, that we could just start recording and just replaying our vocals over this fight, because the amount of times that we've seen these two together on this track and go around the outside of one another, it's pretty amazing that they still actually got tires left.
Yeah, and oh, as we switch, something has happened to Jerome Lamley. Lamley is off the track. Lamley is on his own. Lamley is spun around.
This is going to allow, no, Simone Fessy is a little bit
Simone Fessy is right there. Simone Fessy is chasing him down. Fessy, Lamley now in the fight for second, as it's all Samuel Hermer.
Yeah, advantage Sam Hermer. The gap was almost 10 seconds. Yeah, it was Simone Fessy there. I got a little bit confused by another one of the cars, and yeah, didn't realize how close Simone Fessy had got. So yeah, this is really now advantage Simone Fessy, and Jerome Lamey's going to have to pull out all of his defensive skills once again, but this time not battling for the lead, battling for P2. And Simone Fessy's race goes from better, from good to better. Is Rafael Munza has also come into the pits, and while all of this excitement has been going on, Austin, we have quite a large number of retirements. I mean, we're looking at 19th place down currently being in the pits. Actually, no, Richie Robinson, who's in 20th, is gotten going again. So is Killen, Richie Robinson as well. But a lot of drivers having issues, and I wouldn't have really expected drivers to be sort of struggling so much around Road Atlanta, because you would have said, you know, there's quite a lot of runoff, but a lot of drivers are retiring from this race.
Yeah, a lot of drivers having a little bit of struggles right there, as they are, well, it's just that downhill section. Drivers getting a little bit too ambitious and then using the curves on the outside and getting into incidents. That is what's causing them to have that little issue right there. As Evan Way, we are looking at trying to chase down McIntyre to hold off Luca Verani in P8. We saw earlier Verani get past Evan Way. Well, Evan Way has returned the favor.
You certainly have. Just to add to my point, 16 drivers have retired from this race so far, just to show the attrition levels of this race. Quite astonished by that, to be honest. Rodrigo Duran in 6th place at the moment, being caught by Will McIntyre after Will, of course, made that mistake at turn 7 a few laps earlier. So we head across the line to start lap 28 for these drivers, and I can't believe it, Austin. I mean, over halfway, 37 lap race today. 10 laps to go, and where has the time gone? It's been an absolutely incredible race, as I think that was Zamota getting past Tony Jimenez, who, I mean, Tony's still going on the track. Of course, he had that incident at the start of the race at turn 5, and that looks like, who is that? That's the number 808 car. And he's just getting out of the way, but it certainly looked like those cars were, his car was having a few issues for me. His wheels were dangling all over the place, but he is still going on. I think Kelly might be having a little bit of a connection issue. Clark Williams has just jumped to the pits as well, Austin, so he's had another incident, and I think that might make it 17 retirements.
Yeah, this is a very long attrition race, as Verani late looked down to the inside, got onto the brakes, is selling a fake to Evan Way. Way was not buying any of Luca Verani's cookies right there, as he stays ahead of Luca and stays in P8. Up ahead in the fight for 6, Will McIntyre under pressure by Rodrigo Duran, the Spaniard, attacking the honorary Austrian, as we like to call him right there.
Certainly do. Down the S's, heading towards turn 5 once again, and McIntyre certainly has a little bit more pace through this section. Whoa. But this is where Rodrigo Duran comes into his own. But you're right, Will McIntyre there, oh so wide on the exit of turn 5. And how many times have we said that so far this race? Rodrigo Duran, though, getting a heap of oversteer on the entrance to turn 7. That's going to compromise his exit and allow Will McIntyre just to sort of eke the gap out. He goes very much to the inside to try and break that slipstream. Rodrigo Duran follows him, but I think he's done just enough to keep ahead as we head down towards the turn 10 chicane. On the brakes we go. Rodrigo Duran there, just hitting the apexes nicely, unlike Will McIntyre, who kicks up a lot of dust, taking a little bit too much curb on the first corner of that chicane, or turn 10A as it's officially known on our track maps. At the brakes we go into turn 1 though. Rodrigo Duran really wanting this P6 and not allowing Will McIntyre much of a break up ahead. And all while this is happening, Maruk is just extending the gap and solidifying his 5th place in this race.
Yeah, Lucas Maruk definitely putting on the pace right now as everybody's tires starting to scream just a little bit, and everybody's been looking after their tires and being able to just outpace everybody around them, able to start punishing everybody else as they continue on.
This is a man that we haven't seen much of today, Alistair Hay, currently in 12th, but looking at trying to get into the top 10. This little gaggle headed by Timo Braun with Justin Negret right behind him. And then, as we said, Alistair Hay, the 3rd car in this little battle. And they've got no pressure from behind. That's Marcelo Kessler unable really to do anything about this battle. Around 26 seconds behind. So these drivers are very much free to race and go as slow as they want to. As we see Timo Braun coming over the hill down towards turn 12. And he is still leading this battle. But Timo Braun has certainly had to do quite a lot of defending today, Austin. He's not really been on the offensive too much. Down 3 positions from where he started, and it's looking like he might end up being a few positions further down.
Yeah, Timo Braun definitely not the best day for him. Today's just been a very downhill day. Looking to salvage that with a top 10, but he needs to keep his head clear because Justin Negret and Alistair Hay, both of these two have been very pushy today, as Justin and Alistair are very quick around here as they're closing in on Timo Braun. They've been, you know, it's one to have a good one-lap pace around here. It's another thing to have a good entire race pace and then some to keep the cars alive, because that's what a longer race distance will do around here. Punish those tires a little bit more and get your mind to get a little bit comfortable, and then boom, you'll have a mistake, and that will be the end of your race, or a big end of your position right there, as we saw with Jerome Lamley.
Yeah, certainly will be. It's Justin Negret there, really struggling on the exit, and that's going to allow Alistair Hay a little bit of a move up the inside, or at least the opportunity of thinking about the move. But Justin Negret sorts all of that one out before the entrance to turn 1. So that's still 11th for Justin, 12th for Alistair. And all while that's happening, Timo Braun is just extending this gap. So Braun looking more and more certain for that 10th place as Negret and Alistair Hay continue this battle going through turn 5. Oh, Hay is super wide on the exit there. And that's going to mean that Alistair Hay's got a long way to catch if he wants to get at least behind Negret again. An unusual mistake there for Alistair Hay, as we see Sam Hermer out in the lead, and he's had an issue there.
Oh, Hermer struck down, and now the gap that was 10 seconds is now 1 second between Hermer and Lamley. Hermer just put in the last lap was a fast lap of the race, so it was a couple laps ago, or a lap ago, when that issue happened. But Jerome Lamley, he's back within sniffing distance of Samuel Hermer, and he could close in on him and go for that win.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened to Sam Hermer. We didn't catch that in the commentary booth, so yeah, not sure what happened. But Jerome Lamey really almost within a second of Sam Hermer once again, and you know, this battle that seemed to be over is very much well and truly back on as we head through turns number 6 and 7. Onto the back straight we go through the kink of turn 8, and Hermer is going to have to start thinking about those defensive maneuvers once again. Has to think about how he managed to get past Lamey, if Lamey manages to get past him. And we are certainly in for a battle, and we have a few laps to go in this race, and Simone Festi is nowhere to be found at the moment, about 4 seconds off this battle. So these two are well and truly free to fight, Austin.
Yeah, they are definitely up there and having the opportunity to fight for themselves and go for the lead. That gap has fallen by 3/10 advantage Lamley now, but Lamley needs to be a lot closer to be a lot more reliable in that jet to stay with Hermer He's looking for about 7/10 entering that back straightaway to really be in contention at the end of the straightaway. Anything else to 7/10, he will be around him and just be getting an advantage. And there's 7/10 right there. Very aggressive underneath that final curb as we are closing in on 3 laps to go as they go through turn 10, the double right-hander A and B. And they are loading it up. Half a second underneath the bridge separates them. A little weave to the right by Samuel Hermer. 4/10 separates them. 3/10 separates them. 2/10 separates them. Heading into the chicane, are we going to be looking down the inside? No, we are not. But that gap that was 1 second, 1 lap ago, is now the size of one sedan as they are nose to tail with each other with 2 laps to go here at Atlanta. Down to the inside. Lamley goes for the lead. Lamley takes the lead, but off the exit, Herbert goes wide. Herbert carries the speed. Herbert down to the inside. Herbert back to the lead.
Herman was so wide at turn 1, thought he was going to end up hitting the curb and spinning off into the pit exit, but no, managed to keep it all under control. Jerome Lamey set the fastest lap of the race last time by. They're both super wide on the exit of turn 5. That's going to allow Jerome Lamey a little bit of a look into turn 6, and he takes the lead, but crucially, that's going to allow Herman the slipstream all the way down to the turn 10 chicane. Who's going to get the better exit on the exit of turn 7? Looks fairly even. There's a slow car that's going to get nice and neatly out of the way. And you have to say it's advantage Sam Hermer as he is in the slipstream now. And this is like deja vu all over again, Austin, as we head down towards turn 10.
Hermer's looking on to the inside of Lamley. Side by side, they're going to go. Here comes Herbert down to the inside. Herbert sends one down to the inside right there. Laid onto the brakes as they come over the hill for 2 laps to go. Lamley off the exit going down to the inside of Samuel Herbert to retake the lead right there. Just like what Herbert's done to Lamley multiple times this race. Now it is Jerome Lamley doing that to Samuel Herbert with 2 laps to go. Side by side, they go through turn number 1. Herbert's wide. Herbert's in the grass, and Herbert has thrown it away.
Oh, disaster for Sam. He had that race well and truly under control, and for a reason that we don't quite know yet. Jerome Lamey was able to catch back up, and Hermer with that audacious move around the outside of turn 1 just understeered wide. And I think you're right, Austin. I don't think he's going to get another chance to battle Lamey for the victory. And what an incredible race we see once again at the IGP. And just to add insult to injury, he went also wide on the apex of turn 7 as we have a look at the replay. And we just see very quickly why Sam Hermer is no longer able to battle Jerome Lamey for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Very unfortunate for Samuel Hermer right there. Got wide into the grass, and you just hate to see it.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, it's never nice when a battle that was that good and went for that long sort of ends in this sort of anticlimactic way. It would have been great to see them battle to the very end of the race, but we are on the white flag lap, and that is music to Jerome Lamey's ears. He's got one more time around this track. A little bit wide there on the curb of turn number 3, heading into turn 4.
Don't let the white flag give you any sense of security. You still got to nail down the track, and I've seen races get thrown away by their own self. You got 2 times through turn 10, and if you miss that breaking point, oh boy, you're going to be sleeping with the fish just right there. Lamley, though, he's done that 37 times, very cleanly each time. 1.8 seconds separates them. I don't think we're going to be having our voices raised anytime soon. Down that back straightaway, the number 16 from Team Year 1, Jerome Lamley. He's got a few corners to go right now. As they go left, right, over the hump, and right again to take the win here at Road Atlanta. Your winner today, Jerome Lamley.
Yeah, Hermer's going to come through to take that second place. Crucially as well, Jerome Lamey set the fastest lap of the race, so he takes double honours there. As we see racing in the background, this is Justin Negret and Timo Braun side by side as we head down towards the final corner of the race. Who's going to get it through? It's going to be Justin Negret that takes the top 10. by an oh so slim margin of 0.06 of a second. Alistair Hay will have to settle for 12th place, and we see the battle for 13th is we have Zoltan Zamota there, who's a little bit too far back, but we'll be thinking, can he get past Kessler? And we head down towards turn 10. I think that move is it's not going to be on, barring any mistakes from the 13th. And Zamota up 10 places from where he started, so great job by the German, but he's going to have to settle for 14th place. And Nicholas Westman's going to be the final, one of the final drivers even to finish on the lead lap. And that's kind of a crazy stat, Austin, because this, normally this field is super tight, but I mean, the amount of drivers that have had issues and have retired or at least are not on the lead lap is fairly substantial.
Yeah, it was a very eye-opening number of drivers that are lapped down right now. 16 cars on the lead lap of our 36-car field. That is a astounding amount of attrition happened out there today. But definitely the drivers that were able to keep the car alive throughout this race definitely came at a very good race here today.
Yeah, certainly did. And, Jerome Lamy, he did make that mistake and, was backwards at one point. But, you have to say that he, made the least amount of mistakes. As we have our race results, and why don't you take us through, Austin?
Yeah, Jerome Langley took the win here, followed by Samuel Hermer, Simon Fessy, James Polsland, Lucas Marik, Will McIntyre, Rodrigo Duran, Evan Way, Luca Veroni, Justin Negret, Timo Braun, Alistair Hay, Marcelo Kessler, Zoltan Zomotor, and Antonio Tellez, followed by Nicholas Westman, Rohan Kelly, Rafael Munzer, Noel Richie Robertson, followed by Matthew Gracie in 20th place. Behind them, it is Keeler and Richie Robertson, Clark Williams, Giovanni Saletto, Cucciato, Nico Veldman, Daryl Rollinson, Christian Lanazzino, Matthew Brewer, Reed Dennis, Richard Van Veen, Rodrigo Ridgway, Alex Lado, Nick Carter, Piers Berry, Giuseppe Didon, and Hector Balaguer at the end of our 36-car grid. Hector retired on lap 1, Giuseppe on lap 2, and then you get to see on how everybody just kind of fared with that. A very, very exciting, heart-pounding day here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I think for you, Austin, that was probably better than watching the Indy 500 qualifying, which I know that you are.
Absolutely not.
I know that you're keen to get to. Of course, we next head to Montreal, and that's going to be even crazier, even better. But what a race we had around Road Atlanta. I mean, iGPFUN is such a great league. I thoroughly enjoy commentating on it. There's never been a stale race, and even when you come away go, wasn't a great race, there's still hundreds of overtakes. It feels like it just. I love this league so much. I only have positive things to say about it. It's fair to say.
It's a fantastic league, a fantastic community. I've been commentating this league for 2 straight years. I won't be here next week as I'll be up in Indiana for the Indianapolis 500. So I will not be here